Now, in this video, we're going to talk about getting backlinks to our sites. Of course, we need to get backlinks in order to move up the search engines. Now, one thing I do want to point out is the beauty of what we're doing here is we're targeting, if you did the keyword research right, we're targeting low competition terms. So we're not going to have to do, a ton of really aggressive backlinking because, again, we're going against pretty small competition terms. So I'm going to give you some great backlink sources here. In most cases, in most of the sites I've built, this is enough to get you ranked. Now, in some cases, you will need to do more or continue to do it month after month. But these I'm going to show you here are a great place to go out and get your backlinks. So first off, the number one place to get started is with article submissions. So a couple of the top ones I always try to submit to are eZine articles, Go articles, and articles base. Articles base actually no follows their links in most cases, and that is not something I worry about because when we're trying to optimize for the search engines, we want to look as natural as possible. So if you think about it, is it natural for a website to have 100% of its links be do follow? Absolutely not. So you want to, there's nothing wrong with getting no follow links. In my opinion, they do count, maybe not as much as a do follow link, but it's not something I avoid at all because it just looks natural. And if you're not familiar with do follow or no follow, then don't even worry about it. So I always make sure and submit an article to eZine, Go articles, and articles base. One thing I want to point out is I would submit unique content to each of these three. So submit a different article to each. And they're a great place to get, your first links kind of out and going. Then we have second tier article directories, and there is literally hundreds and hundreds of them. So I'm not going to give a list. What I usually like to do is if you go to Fiverr.com and just do a search for article submission or something like that, there's plenty of services out there that will, or plenty of people on there that will submit your article to the second tier directories. Now, a couple things to point out. When we do article submissions, of course, you get a little resource box where you can put a link back to your site. You want to make sure you're using an anchor text that is for the keyword you're trying to rank for, of course. But another thing is you want to vary that anchor text. You don't want to have 100 links and they all be the exact same anchor text. Again, that doesn't look natural. It looks like over-optimization, and it's not going to help you. So make sure you're always varying your anchor text, just putting kind of related terms in there, any variations you found during your keyword research. So again, you do want to vary those. You don't want to keep using the same anchor text over and over and over. But again, to get started, I would submit an article to eZine articles, Go articles, and articles base. 3 different articles and different anchor text on all of those. And I usually, when you're first getting started, it's a good idea to do article submissions every single week. It's a great place to get links from. A benefit is a lot of these sites get a lot of traffic, so people will actually read your articles and then click over to your site. So you get traffic that way, and you get the SEO benefit. Then after you've done those, and you wait a little bit, then I would go ahead and start submitting some to the second tier directories. You don't want to do a gigantic blast because, again, we want to build links slowly over time. But again, Fiverr is a great place to start utilizing the second tier ones. And my list of eZine articles, Go articles, and articles base isn't a definitive list. It's just 3 I like to use. There's a lot of other what I would call tier 1 article directories, but they change so rapidly. I'm just going to list those 3 because those 3 have been good for quite some time. After that, another powerful tool to use is a tool called Unique Article Wizard. And what this basically does is you put in an article, and then you put in, we basically put in 3 variations of an article, and then they'll kind of mix up which paragraph they use. If you never use them, don't worry about it. They explain it all. But it works very, very good, and then they go out and then they kind of submit those articles to a bunch of different sites. And it's a great way to get a bunch of backlinks. Again, this is something I would do after you've done your tier 1 articles. Get some links flowing in and then start using Unique Article Wizard. And again, you want to use these slowly. You don't want to blast a ton of links right off the bat. But again, with Unique Article Wizard, vary your anchor text. It's also a good idea to not always use a keyword as your anchor text, so feel free to use your actual URL as the anchor text. Again, that just looks normal. or even use words like click here, more information, or maybe like the official name of your site. You want to be varying that. Some people think if they're trying to optimize for a keyword and they use that keyword in every single link, it's going to help them rank faster. It's actually the opposite. You're going to actually do harm by not varying your anchor text. Again, you want to be doing that. With Unique Article Wizard, it's also a good idea to spin the article, and a great tool is the Best Spinner. I use the Best Spinner basically all the time to spin content. A couple pointers on that. They have an auto spin feature that will automatically spin your article. The problem is when the articles you get out sometimes aren't that high quality, and you really don't want to be submitting junk out there. Google's really cracking down on that kind of stuff. So what I like to do is I spin whole sentences. So you'll have a sentence, then just rewrite that entire sentence. It's a better way to spin because you get readable, good content. You don't end up with kind of unreadable junk. So again, Unique Article Wizard, start using that, and I of course spin those with the Best Spinner. Another great one to use is a press release. What you basically do is, you might think, well, my site, how do I write a press release for my site? Well, actually the sites we're creating work great because what you can do is, for example, I could write a press release about the site I was using and say, Best Sleeping Bags review, or bestsleepingbags.com releases its rankings of the top 3 sleeping bags. That's a newsworthy item. You can go ahead and submit a press release for that. Now, press releases do have a format that you want to follow. Any service that you use will show you that. One that I like to use is a service called WebWire. What they'll do is you basically put in your press release, and then they will distribute it for you. It's a great way to get a lot of links and get kind of vary where you're getting anchor text, because it's going to show up on a lot of news sites, and a lot of other random sites will pick it up. Press releases are a great way to get backlinks back to your site, and they are completely natural. Every large company out there releases press releases. There's really nothing wrong with doing that. So it's a nice, safe way to get more links, and also to extend the places where they're coming from. And again, with press releases, same thing goes. Make sure you're varying your anchor text. Don't be afraid to use your actual URL as your anchor text, because again, it just looks natural. So with the press release, I like to use WebWire. There's a lot of services out there, like PR Web is the big dog, but it costs like $300 to submit one, and for this purpose, we just don't need that. So I would submit a press release, right after your site's done, kind of announce that it's launching and that you've released your rankings of the top 3 products, and then just write a little press release, submit it. It's a good place to get some links back to your site as well. Another great one are videos. We all know videos are rapidly taking over the web. So what you can do is, first off, I would create a video that just talks about the 3 products that you rated, 1, 2, and 3. Just go through those. You can make a little PowerPoint presentation like I'm doing here, and then just go ahead and submit it to YouTube. One key that you want to make sure you do is in the description field, you want your URL with the full URL to HTTP as the first thing you put in the description, because that is how people will be able to click and get back to your site. It's also going to get you a backlink as well. And from there forward, like I would do the video talking about your 3 top products, or however many you did, I would do that right away, and then you can submit additional videos with each product you review, and it can basically just be you reading through the product review with some pictures, what have you, and again putting your URL, and in those I would put the URL to that post for that exact product review, and then also make sure on your YouTube page you can put a link back to your site as well. We all know Google loves YouTube, they own them, so it's a great place to be getting links from as well. And lastly, there are directories. Now, directories are just basically you submit your site to the directory, and the directory just lists, sites on the web. These aren't, I wouldn't call these powerful at all. What they are great for is further diversifying where you're getting your links from. And when I use directories, I would almost always use my URL as the anchor text, because again, I hate to be redundant here, but we want to be varying our anchor text and making it look natural. So having links that point back to your site with just your URL as the actual anchor text, so the actual HTTP semicolon it just looks natural, and it's good to have those to vary your anchor text. And directories are a great place to get those. Same thing with directories. An easy way to go out and use those are on Fiverr. Very easy to find somebody on there to do them for $5, and they'll submit them to directories. There's also tools out there, but nowadays with Fiverr, really the easiest to use. And that is all you need to be doing for backlinking. Again, we're targeting low competition keywords, so we don't need a ton of links. Again, kind of the battle plan: start with the top tier article directories. Go ahead and submit an article to each of those. Then you can do some of the second tier ones. Give it a little time, let those get found so you have some links back to your site, make sure everything's indexed. And then I would also use Unique Article Wizard, submit an article with that. And then going forward, you can look to use them maybe on more of a monthly basis, kind of just monitor your rankings and see if you need more links going back. I would also do the press release right away, kind of announcing your top 3 products. Again, I like to use WebWire. And then videos you can always be doing. Those are never going to harm anything. And remember to be putting your URL in the description. And then lastly, the directories. Again, just a way to vary your anchor text and get a wider range of backlinks back to your site. So that is it for backlinks. Go ahead, start doing those. Again, I'm going to pound this point home. Make sure you vary your anchor text. We want it to look natural, and don't be afraid of getting do follow and no follow links. It's only going to look more natural. So that is your backlink battle plan. Go out and start getting some backlinks, monitor your rankings, then just keep following the process more and more until the rankings get onto that first page and up to the top of the rankings.